And I really like that Kyle Bosman guy. So I first learned about him in probably 2014, I think, is when he started doing this series called The Final Bosman that was just a weekly show about video games. And he was really creative and had this cool, funny skits and shit. And then that company closed down, but now he's the host of the Easy Allies podcast, which if you need a video game podcast, it's my favorite. It's a really good one. But he started working on this thing called Box Peak. That was just one of the side Patreon goals for, he's part of this group called the Easy Allies, which I love that name too, Easy Allies. Like, I hate friendships that are a lot of work to maintain. I like easy allies. I want easy allies, you know? I don't want to have to fight to be your friend. If it's too big of a problem, there's just no need for that. Be an easy ally. That's such a great term. But he started working on this thing, and I didn't really pay that much attention. I'm just like, hey, okay, he's doing this weird little web show called Box Peak. I don't really know what it is. I just kind of was like, well, whatever. Let's just put that aside, and let's just, whatever. When it's done, I'll see what it is. And he put out like a preview of the first episode. So whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever time in history, go to YouTube and look up Kyle Bosman Box Peak and just check this thing out because it's so awesome. I legitimately love this show Box Peak more than any $100 million movie or even a $4 million movie, any movie, this little tiny low budget thing where it's all just little cutout paper characters on like little sticks, like little popsicle sticks or whatever. And he films those and does the voiceover with his friends. And it's got this great theme song and this ridiculous little plot where it's like a play on Pokemon and Digimon and that type of stuff, where there just appears to be a whole society that is apparently just completely based around this one kid's game for no fucking reason. And in this case, it's this game called Box Peak that is a terrible game. It's like when you first heard of like Pogs and you're like, Jesus, Pogs are not a very good game. But it's just because they were trying to make a game out of, milk caps. That's what Box Peak is. It's like, it's just boxes. It's like, what kind of game could you possibly play if you're just two kids who each have a box? It's not going to be a great game. But this whole society is like, got super high-tech robots and scoring systems and everything based on this stupid game. And it's so fucking awesome. And the way that it's all hand-drawn and these little characters are cut out by hand. And it's amazing. And it's like, super double amazing because you watch it and you're like, I could do that. It's that Kevin Smith Clerks feeling of like, I could do that. But at the same time, you recognize like, that's a lot of work. It would be a lot of work just on a physical side to do this. And to conceptualize of this idea, like Kyle has got a long history of like loving Pokemon or growing up with Pokemon, but also thinking Pokemon is fucking stupid, and like getting fed up with like re-releases of Pokemon games and playing through them a second time and realizing what a waste of time a lot of it is. And this just brings all that together in such a great way. It's that thing like, if you ever saw the show Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, I fucking love that show. It's this BBC show that there's only like 6 episodes. And it's kind of based on like what was it called? The Hitchhiker? But like these like 80s anthology horror shows. And it makes fun of them, but at the same time, it just shows such love for them, because all the details are so right and so appropriate. And that's what Box Peak is like. It's like, this guy grew up with Pokemon and Digimon and all that shit. That was a little after my time. Like by the time the Pokemon card game hit big, I was a teenager working in a comic shop. So my experience of Pokemon was that fucking crazy rush of people trying to get the Pokemon cards and just calling everywhere. And I had to just field so many calls a day looking for Pokemon cards. And, you just take the phone off the hook after a while because you can't fucking deal with it anymore. Like that was my experience with the phenomenon. But you can tell Kyle grew up with that shit and loved that shit. And he wants to like pay tribute to that shit, but also point out how ridiculous it is and also make this fun, cool thing with his friends that is just so handmade and handcrafted and so awesome. And man, that makes me more excited than anything. This fucking Box Peak show, I've literally watched it 10 times. I love it. I love it so much.